Hello and welcome to another day in the Austrian Alps. As you can see, there is something really important missing from my bike. Yes, I have ripped the chain. So you're probably wondering, how the hell did that happen? How do you rip a chain? Honestly, I'm not quite sure myself. But I can describe to you what exactly happened. I was on a ride out with a very close friend of mine, the guy who actually helped me pick up the bike and has been helping me with a bunch of things around the bike. Now, I was on a ride with him, just a quick round actually, as we've been doing a couple of times now, and nothing out of the ordinary was happening really. The bike was, I thought it was fine, but unfortunately, when we were very close to home actually, just I think maybe 10, maybe 15 kilometers away from my house, I suddenly heard an absolutely horrendous mechanical sound, and then I just saw sparks on the floor. And what had happened was, as we were riding out of a turn uphill at very slow speed, I should mention, maybe 30, 40 kilometers an hour, it just ripped and fell to the floor and dragged along for maybe another 15 meters. So we stopped, checked it out, and saw that the chain was in fact no longer intact. So that rhymed. But yeah, the chain was ripped, and obviously we could no longer take the bike home, so this is what followed. And as we arrived home, we inspected the bike a little bit further, and we found that not only did the chain rip, but it also made a tiny, actually not such a tiny, but a relatively big hole in the engine. Yeah, what had happened was that the chain just kept turning and turned all the way into this area right here, which is right by the engine block, and there was so much force that it pushed an actual part of the aluminium of the engine block further inward. So now it looks like this. It's not leaking any oil at this moment, but yeah, basically there is a hole in the engine block, and I can clearly not ride it the way it is right now. There's a couple of other parts that also kind of fell off, or rather just, well, ripped off too, from all the impact and the force. Yeah. There is also a part that is bent. This part specifically is bent, that needs to be replaced. And a couple of other parts that are just no longer intact. However, I have done a lot of research and we can fix it. I think, hopefully, we can fix it. The plan now is to open up this area and see whether we can push out the dent, because that's really all it is. It is a dent that is kind of, actually broken, but in theory we should be able to either glue it or weld it. So we're going to open up this bad baby and see if anything on the inside is severely damaged or whether we can repair it. If we can't, then I might have to get a new engine block, which I don't have the money for. So yeah, it's not looking too good at the moment, but I think we'll be fine. Eventually we'll fix it. I will be able to ride my bike, I am sure of it. In the meantime, I will be driving the Mini, I guess, and making videos of how we're fixing it and how things are progressing. So, yeah, let's hope we can actually fix this. Tonight I will open it up and check the inside. So, fast forward to then, let's check out what is wrong in the engine. To assess the damage, we decided to partially drain the oil and remove the crankcase cover, hoping to see the damage from the inside and maybe being able to push the dent out of the aluminium. Removing the oil also helped us to discover any metal shavings or broken pieces from the inside, if there should be any. Luckily, the drained oil had no glitter to it nor any pieces of metal whatsoever. This should mean that all inside parts must be intact. After removing the crankcase cover, we realized that there was another separation between the generator, which sits right behind the cover, and the actual crankcase where the dent is located. This separation prevented us from seeing the damage clearly. At least, having inspected the oil, we now know that there is possibly no serious damage to the insides. It is important to understand that in a 4-stroke motorcycle, the engine layout is slightly different from that of a car. For instance, unlike in a car, where the gearbox has its own oil cycle, the gearbox on a motorcycle is part of the engine oil cycle, which is why we also know that the gearbox should be somewhat okay, considering there are no loose parts or metal shavings in the drained oil. After this inspection and some further consideration with motorcycle mechanics, we've decided to buy a special aluminium glue and simply glue the dent and any holes surrounding it shut, as there don't appear to be any damaged components behind the dent. We will also replace all broken parts, such as the clutch cable to clutch rod connector that has shattered into 5 pieces, as well as the bent clutch rod. Naturally, we will also do an oil and oil filter change, as well as of course get a new chain kit, which includes 2 new sprockets as well as a brand new chain. We are still unsure what caused the chain to rip, but our closest suspicion is that it was too dry, which could have heated up the chain, and when the bike quickly accelerated, the strain on the hot, not sufficiently lubricated chain may have caused it to snap. Though this is a tough start to my motorcycle career, I am grateful that this accident happened at a low speed, the bike never even touched the ground, and nobody was injured in the whole ordeal. In the next videos, let's fix my bike and get back on the road. This is the end of today's video. I doubt you enjoyed, but do stay tuned for the next couple of videos in which we will hopefully be fixing my bike. Goodbye.
The number you have dialed is not available at present. Please leave your message after the beep.
I just wanted to let you know that I miss you. That I miss you. Idée noire, idée noire.